Hey guys, Cindy Williams here from Careers on Vacation. It's Thursday live stream day. Yay! So first I want to start by saying we're testing a new live streaming software today. So this is streaming a couple different places, but I am not sure if we're going to be able to see your comments with this new software. So at any rate, as you join the call, pop in a hello. Even if I don't see your comments right now, I'll definitely see them later and respond to any questions that you have for sure. But today we're talking about the thinking that sets you up for success. What type of thinking do you need as an entrepreneur, as a business person, to drive your business forward? And we even have a cool quiz. But before we get started on today's topic, I had a little fun post, it wasn't a live stream, but just kind of a live video we did in Home Goods earlier this week. So you guys had to guess which item I was going to buy. Do you see which one made the cut? Wait, it's this way, it's backwards. The little pink vase, the little hello darling. So that's the one that we picked, so if you picked choice B, then congratulations, you're super smart. And my daughter said the real fans will know it wouldn't be the hourglass because we have one, and it wouldn't be the globe because we have one already. So that's my daughter and her little lawyer mind at 12 years old. But for those of you who loved the llama, I have to say, the llama, I had to get him. He's so cute. Oh my God. Take it in for a minute. It's a llama blowing bubbles. Like, where do you find it? So this is actually hanging in our house. So I had to get the llama blowing bubbles. It didn't make the cut for the office, but it's definitely going to be in our house. So for sure. So again, we're testing this new live software, guys. So I can see that there's some people joining the call. I don't know if I'm going to be able to see your comments. So just in case I don't respond to you on the live stream, that's why we're testing this new software, see if it's going to work for all the platforms that we're streaming on. So today's topic, the thinking you need to drive your business forward, to think as an entrepreneur. And really, I wanted to spend some time assessing where are you today so you can maybe recognize and self-evaluate your pattern and see if there's a need for a change or see if maybe you're already on track. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is separating your feelings from business, right? So look, I know this is hard because you built your travel business from scratch. You built it from the ground up. It's kind of like another child to you, like every piece you've probably touched, thought about, overthought about, you've built this up. So it's your baby. We're not going to call anyone's baby ugly. That's not what today's about. And it really doesn't matter where your business is today because you can always make different decisions and grow and all that good stuff. But when we talk about the feelings, it's really easy to get, how do I want to say that? You kind of have a filter for your own business because you look at it every day and you feel like, wow, my business is out there. Everyone should be seeing it. But because you're in the environment where you're looking at it every day, you forget that maybe your reach isn't as big as you thought it was, or maybe you're not hitting the goals that you thought you would at this point. You have some structure put in place and you're wondering why it's not performing. But when you go through those thoughts, separating how you feel about things and assessing your business in a pragmatic, data-based fashion can really change and help you not be so stressed out in your business. So what do I mean by that? You guys, I think what's that movie where Tom Hanks, he's like, there's no crying in baseball. You guys know what I'm talking about? Was that League of Your Own, the one where like Madonna and Rosie O'Donnell, I think it was like in the 80s or 90s. But anyway, he's like, he's dealing with all these women and they have all this emotion. One of them just cries every time they get yelled at or something doesn't go her way. And he's like, there's no crying in baseball. So like, there's no crying in business. It's not personal. When you make the decision to attach those feelings to your business, it can cloud your vision and prevent you from making good, solid business decisions. So things like worrying, not sleeping at night, stressing out over your business, agonizing over every little decision because you're not sure what to do, if you have that stress and that anxiety or even that sadness that the business isn't where you thought it would be, you have to start to separate those emotions, because all of those things, the anxiety, the frustration, the stress, that is wasted energy. If you can rechannel that energy to a place where it's working to fuel your business to get larger, then not only, you're having more abundance in your business, and that's a good thing, but some of that stuff goes away, and all of a sudden you have calm, and you have, some of those things that will allow you to put you in a headspace where you can grow your business. Okay. So I wanted to do like a couple scenarios, and then we're going to take a quiz. So this is super private. Like, you guys grab a sheet of paper, get ready to do this little quiz in a second. And I want to give you, before we do the quiz, I want to give you a couple statements of examples of, thoughts that you might be thinking that set you up for failure, and thoughts that set you up for success. So let's do failure first, because that's no fun. So when you're in kind of that mindset where you're stressed, worried, anxiety, you might be thinking things like, I should be able to figure all this out myself. I should be able to figure this out. I should be able to figure this out. You put that extra stress on you to go, I'm going to be a social media expert. I'm going to be a process expert. I'm going to be an automation expert. I'm going to be a travel expert. That's a lot of experts to be. So when you're wearing so many hats, you put that stress on yourself to like, I'm smart. I should be able to figure this out. Yeah, if you had the time to dedicate, I'm sure you could figure out each section. But to move your business forward and make the most amount of money and abundance that you want to out of your business in the shortest amount of time, sometimes you have to go, yeah, I'm smart enough to get help in one of these categories and relieve my stress, right? So putting that pressure on yourself of thinking you should be able to figure everything out, that's one of the thought patterns that can set you up for failure, not success. I can do everything myself. I can, when your agency starts to grow, so for those of you who are approaching $1 million or over $1 million, at some point you have to get automation involved, because if you're like, I'm going to just keep doing everything myself, I'm going to keep doing everything myself, that is not scalable. So again, that's an area where if you're in that pattern of, I'm going to do everything because I want to make the most abundance, sometimes you can make more abundance by just getting automations or processes or things in place that will allow your business to grow without you having that stress. So if you stay in that place of, I'm going to do everything myself, that's risky territory because it's not scalable. It might be scalable if you have 50 clients or 100 clients, but when you have 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 people in your database, that quickly becomes unscalable. And then you're like, oh my God, now my business is a burden. I don't have all these leads coming in and, all of this stuff happening. What am I going to do to, relieve the stress? It comes to a point where you have to delegate and you have to outsource certain processes or things in your business. So remember when those times come not to put all that pressure on yourself. The other thought pattern that's really dangerous is, I didn't get results because it was someone else's fault. I didn't get results because I'm just not that type of person. I didn't get results because if you're always externalizing, looking for why you didn't have a result, you must be doing everything perfect. And, if you are this person, that's okay. You just have to recognize if you do the self-evaluation piece, sometimes it's small stuff that you can move and gauge and move levers on and learn this new thing or get this other software or get this process in place. You might have the success that the person you're looking at is having. So if you have a lot of, here's why this business doesn't work. Here's why people always go to Costco. Here's why people always do this. And you always have like that ready-made response of why you're not getting the bookings, but then you're looking at other people and going, oh, why are they having success and I'm not? And you can kind of, you don't realize it right away, but it's starting to build up an angst over your business. And then it can start to spiral into a negative place. So let's flip that now and say, okay, how would I change my thinking to get into patterns where I can be as successful as possible? So thinking that sets you up for success. If you think, I'm going to grow my business 30% this year, which means I need to get more sales in order to grow. I need help with XYZ to break to the next plateau. What solutions, whether it be person, tech, or resource, can I find to fix this in my business the quickest way possible? Right? So you not only have a goal because, you can have a goal, but then you don't want to hang out and like Say, oh, well, I hope for the best and see if it works out. No, if your goal is 30%, what were your sales last year? What was your lead flow last year? How many more sales do you have to make to meet that goal? So you're like, okay, 30%. So if I sold $1 million, I want to sell $1.3 million. How are you going to bring in that extra $300,000 in sales this year? What are you going to do? What are the measurable things? Okay, I need to fix this process. I need to delegate this. I need help with this. I need to, have more sales funnels leading into my business. I need more leads. So you not only have the goal, but you're looking at the data in your business to make decisions. So that's a thinking path that is really productive and that you guys want to think about and can easily be implemented. You just have to start tracking your stats so then you can measure and assess and make decisions. Another one is, what does the data show me? How can I use that to make decisions to move my business forward? So how often do you guys track your sales for yourself or the agents that work for you? How often do you track their close rate? How often do you track your lead flow? How often do you measure and track the marketing efforts that you're doing and what the ROI on those are? So I don't want to overwhelm you with like a bunch of financial terms, but in very base terms, just measuring and paying attention to these numbers will help you convert and make better decisions in your business. So if you measure those things right now and you're building your 2019 plan, which you should be doing right now, absolutely, because fourth quarter, we had a big post on the page yesterday, fourth quarter preparation and how you run your marketing plan in fourth quarter will absolutely 100% dictate your success in first quarter of next year. So you have to be planning for that now. Now, how do you plan for that? You need to look at your data for the year. What are your people closing at? What marketing channels were successful last year? Let's do more of what worked and less of what didn't. So looking at those from a data-driven perspective will empower you in your business and it will give you a place to start so you can really move forward, okay? And the last one is, what can I outsource in my business to get results faster? If you struggle with having something automated in your business, or marketing is a big one. Like, we consult with people on marketing all the time because it's not easy to be an Instagram expert and a Facebook expert and a YouTube expert, all of those things that we do through Careers on Vacation. So people will say, I'm going to outsource to this and learn this and have that piece and go forward. Whether it's that or it's something else in your business, you have to identify those gaps in your business and close them. Because if you fix it and you have leads coming in, that frees up a whole bunch more abundance for you to reinvest in whatever you want to do in the future. So if you're like, if I just had, 20% more leads in my business every month, I know I close at this percentage, so that means I'm going to hit my goal of growing 30% next year. Right? And then the year after, you can count on, another statistic we encourage people to look at is your recurring business is always a percentage of what your sales will be for the year. So you can say, okay, my year over year sales, but if you're getting most of your business from recurring clients, that's great, but not everyone's going to travel next year. Sometimes people get pregnant and they don't travel for a year or two because they have little babies, or people get to retirement age and they're not traveling as much as they once were. So you can't always factor on that recurring base. You always have to be adding new people in. So if you're having, trouble with any of those, processes in your business, you have to figure out how to fix it so you can move forward and grow. That's a whole goal. So let's take this quiz. So grab yourself a piece of paper and, I'm going to read the questions and I want you to write down if A or B is your answer, and then we'll gauge kind of where you're at so you can kind of have a feeling, and we'll go from there. So question 1. How do you track your stats in your business? So we just talked about data. So A is, I track and analyze statistics like close ratio, lead flow, return on investment for my marketing, analytics of my online communities. If you track that, mark down A. The next one is, I just notice trends based on how I feel about my business or the leads that are coming in or business on a given day. I notice trends based on the functions that I'm doing, right? Like, oh, someone told me they called me because they saw that Facebook post. So that must be working. If that's your method for tracking your stats, that's okay. Just put B as your answer. The next question. When you recognize something isn't working in your business, that's always the fun one. So A, you seek out expert resources or correct the issue so you can move forward to meet your goals. So you figure it out that you have the issue, you either get an expert resource and you fix it so you can continue on your path of meeting your goals. Or B is maybe you go out to communities or ask peer groups about their approach, not really knowing what their background or historical track record is for success, or if their advice is good. Everyone loves to give advice, right? So sometimes on these community boards I read and I'm like, oh my God, why would they be doing that? So, but I understand if you're a solopreneur, you're at home, you guys feel isolated sometimes. So it's kind of like, let me go ask this community. And sometimes the advice is good. Sometimes it's totally not good. So wherever you are today, just A or B. You either seek out expert or you're kind of hodgepodging it to kind of let me try to find an answer for the solution. Number 3, when you get frustrated with your business or you feel like your business is stuck, you A, get refocused and seek out a solution and invest if necessary to correct issues, or B, you go through cycles of wondering, oh my God, is this business for me? Should I give up? This is not what I thought it would be. This is way harder. This is very challenging. So A, you seek a solution, invest, get it corrected. B, you just start wondering, oh my God, is this for me? So A or B, again, there's no judgment here, guys. This is only for you to self-assess. No one is looking at these answers, I promise. There's not going to be a post below or anything like that. Only you know your answers. And the last question, when planning your goals. So this is a very timely question as we move into fourth quarter. You A, set your annual goals and track progress every single month and make adjustments when needed to ensure your year-end goals are met based on your data. So you decide, I want to grow X amount. Here's what I'm going to measure every month. You're looking at it every month and you're tweaking what you need to do and make sure you're on track for your goals. Or you set, this is my favorite answer, you set goals on New Year's Eve and hope for the best and revisit it next New Year's, right? We all do that. We're like, this is what I'm going to do. New Year's Eve, I'm going to write out my resolutions. I want to grow my business. So A or B, again, no judgment on where you are today. This is just about thinking about it in a different way. So if you had mostly A's, that means you're absolutely on the right track. You're running your business like you should. You're checking in regularly to recognize when you need to make adjustments, and you're investing in what you need to or delegating where you need to so you can continue to grow your business based on factual data. B, you have the hope for the best approach, maybe a little too much feeling right now in your business, not as strategic as you want to be. Month over month results are likely to be very slow or no progress, or you're probably having that trial and error. You're having to make a lot of mistakes and figure stuff out, and then you do it different and you get better, which can take years to get to that growth place. So that's the quiz, guys. So did you have mostly A's where you're on the right track, or B's where you just have a little too much feeling in the business right now and maybe not making decisions based on data? It's okay wherever you are. This is business. Remember, we started this call with, there's no crying in baseball, right? So it's just where you are today. And every business goes through those periods where they evolve and they get stagnant, and you have to work through a plateau and you have to recognize, where am I? What do I need to do to grow? So hopefully that's helpful, just to give you a self-evaluation perspective of where you are and what you might need to do to move forward to really be a true business owner that's rocking and growing your portable, profitable travel business. And there's a quote that I love. I don't know where this came from, so I can't take credit for it, but it said, it's kind of like in that, to switch your thinking and get you from that place where it kind of wakes you up a little bit. You can have results or you can have excuses, but you can't have both. You have to pick one. So next time you're like, here's why that's not working, just go, oh, you know what? I'm doing that again. So let me maybe figure out a different way I can make it work. So you can have results or you can have excuses, but you can't have both. So I love that. That's a fun one, just to kind of, and I do it sometimes too, like, oh, that didn't work. I bet it's because of, and then I'm like, nope, I can whine about it, or I can make a different decision and move forward. And look, as entrepreneurs and business owners, you're going to make some mistakes along the way. Allow yourself to make mistakes and be forgiving with yourself. Being a business owner and an entrepreneur is not easy. but it is only a failure if you quit. It's only a failure if you quit. So don't quit. You have to keep at it. You have to keep, drudging forward. So think about that when challenges come up in your business, how you can move forward to that next shift. So I want to give you a couple shifts to kind of shifting to think like a results producing entrepreneur. It really requires a couple of things that you should do. So one, the discipline to adapt this new mindset. And that's one of those things where, just deciding to catch yourself and recognize when you're doing it, the discipline to go, no, you know what? Or, from a very heartfelt place, when you get, like, I've known agency owners, they get on their first consulting call with me and they just cry. Like, I'm so glad to have some help and I'm so frustrated and I've done this and I've done that. They've been banging their head against the wall. Allow yourself to have that release if you need to have that, but you have to be gentle, loving, and forgiving with yourself, but you also have to hold yourself to a high standard to say, I'm a business owner, so I have to put on my big girl panties or my big guy drawers, and I have to go out and get this done. So what am I going to do about it? So the discipline to adapt that new mindset is really important. So if you had a lot of B's on there today, just recognize where you are and just say, you know what, let me maybe try to approach it a little bit differently and see if I have a different result. Understand that your job is not to know or do everything. This is a huge one. Your job is not to be a YouTube creator, editor star, and an Instagram expert, and an automation expert, and a process expert. Your job is not to know everything. Your job is to know where to find the information and seek resources that will drive your business forward. And I can't, kind of hammer down on this one hard enough because this is where you guys get frustrated most. And with the clients that we work with, they're like, especially the ones that have tried to do it all. And it's just like, if you try to wear all of those hats, it just becomes like a hodgepodge of this isn't getting the attention that it deserves. This isn't getting the attention it deserves versus having a very strategic, laid out, automated, process-driven, data-based business that is running seamlessly and bringing you leads and bringing the abundance that you want. Sometimes when you try to do it all or know it all, it's the same thing with travel. Let's use a travel example. So if you're not an expert in African safaris and you get someone that calls you and says, yeah, I have this huge budget. I want to do an African safari and it's going to be pretty detailed. If you're taking that call and you're not an expert or you've never done an African safari before, sometimes you're doing that person a disservice, right? Because you really don't know what you're doing. And it might be better for you to focus on the areas that you know best and then add that later. Because if you get 10 other calls and what you know backwards and forwards that you can book in 30 minutes, then you miss out on 10 sales while you're chasing this other one that probably isn't going to close because you're not really an expert in it. But you do know where to find the information when you're ready to train yourself on how to do African safaris. You know the travel suppliers. So your job isn't to know everything. When you're ready to grow into that area, you go and get the resources and figure it out. It's the same thing with the business side of your business, whether it be automation, processes, making leads, creating funnels, all that stuff that has to happen in order for you to have a 6+ figure business and beyond. Just know where to get the resources that you need to drive your business forward. And then start running your business like a business. Data, data, data. Are you measuring? Are you on a monthly basis looking at your results and making data-based decisions? This really helps taking the feeling out of it. Sometimes I'll go to my husband and go, because he's a super data guy, and I love data too. I love it just enough where it can make the most amount of money as possible. But if I ever get over emotional about something, he puts me in check and he's like, that's not what the data says. Like, we had another 1,000 people join our email funnel. So that means we close at this rate once we wear them down and, put them in our funnels and do all the stuff that we do on the back end. I'm like, oh, you know what? He's right. Why am I getting sales were down a couple thousand for that particular month, but we just netted all these people into our database, which means because we can do forward projecting in our business, it takes a feeling out of it. It's like, what am I worried about? Like, go take a swim or, go out to dinner. It's not that serious. So run your business like a business, not a hobby. It makes a world of difference. And, with the feeling stuff, this business will always be your baby. It's one of those things, especially if you grew it up from the ground up. So you're always going to have some degree of feelings, but if you base that from a factual place, and your business will finally grow. And then all of those things like the anxiety, the fear, the stress that you're trying to work past, they'll go away when the abundance starts coming in, right? But you do have to make these big changes of altering your mindset and, keeping your mindset in a good place, right? So that's the last one in terms of, I know you guys sometimes feel isolated, and that's tough because you have to constantly keep yourself in this high energy state where you're attracting abundance, and that can be tough when you have tire kickers and you have all this stuff in your business that you're trying to work through. So my last thing for you guys is identify where your gaps are in your business. Don't feel like there's a gap. Really look at the data and say, you know what? I struggle with getting leads in. I struggle with closing sales. I struggle with tire kickers. I struggle with whatever the things are that you have gaps in. And then what are you going to do about it? You need to figure out what resource you're going to do, what training you're going to invest in, what information you need to find out to close that gap, or it will never get better. You'll be in a continual cycle of staying where you're at, or worse yet, because that recurring base is never guaranteed in terms of the same that they traveled last year, you'll start to shrink. You're either moving forward in business or you're moving backwards. There's no standing still. And right now, because we're heading into fourth quarter, you guys, I cannot stress the importance of making sure you have a strong real marketing happening in fourth quarter, because that's going to dictate the jump start into 2019. So if this stuff overwhelms you guys or you're feeling stressed out, reach out to us at Careers on Vacation. If you haven't already, we have a totally free masterclass you can take, careersonvacation.com/masterclass. We run those a few times a week, so you can go and click in there and see when the next one is and get that scheduled for yourself. Definitely do that. And if you're really serious about supersizing your business into 2019, reach out and find out about our mastermind. We can't have everyone in the mastermind. We have limited spots each month, and going into school season. Kids are going back to school. It's perfect time to do it. Let's get fourth quarter and get you jump started in 2019. But no matter what, guys, I hope this information was helpful for you. Please put a comment below, and I can't see your comments. So if you've been commenting, I'll definitely go back and respond to those later. We're using a new streaming software if you came on midway, so I'm not able to see those, but I'll respond back. But click a CTR if you're seeing the video later, or if you have questions, pop them in, and we'll do our best to get all those answered for you guys. All right. Have a great weekend, guys. Bye.